All right, we want to welcome in our next guest to take a look across the software trade. We've got Ali Mogharabi, Senior Equity Analyst, Weston Capital Management, joining us today. Ali, so we're seeing the IGV tick higher today. A little bit of a gain today. One day doesn't make a trend. Let's talk overall about the term that they're calling SaaS apocalypse. Is the sell-off in the software space overblown first?
It's really hard to tell, right? Because they're actually facing a lot of issues right now. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding the overall software environment. So issues such as seat compression, basically that revenue model that was based on the number of seats, that's actually being disrupted. The other one is basically commoditization, where the software, various software can actually be easily replicated. So there's not that much of a switching cost, and that certainly impacts the pricing of the software. The other one is also, budget allocation. I mean, a lot of enterprises are wondering, well, should I actually renew this this software license, or should I actually start investing in more AI capabilities in-house? So with all of that said, that uncertainty questions the top and bottom line growth. So you're facing top line growth and you're facing margin pressure. So overall, the market is pretty much compressing those valuation multiples. So those questions are still, in my opinion, are still a little bit too early to be answered.
So the seat compression, that would be potentially a structural shift if you see companies have to adjust because of that, right? At the same time, there's some cyclical nature to some of this. How much of the pressure is cyclical? Like, for instance, you mentioned the tighter budgets versus structural.
Actually, I wouldn't think much of it is cyclical. I think most of it is structural. AI is disrupting the entire market, whether it's on the software side or anything else. And whether you're a technology company or you're a company in any other vertical, what you want to do, I think we've seen that you want to implement AI capabilities to obviously execute and or operate more efficiently. And to a certain extent, in some verticals, there are a lot of monetization opportunities there. So to answer your question, I don't think it's really cyclical. I think it's pretty much structural.
There's nowhere to hide. You have some nibbling happening today, not just in IGV, but when I look across some of the software names, you are seeing Salesforce actually catch a bid today, up 4%, which, listen, I mean, compared to its year to date, that's really nothing. But it's getting some nibbling here. You've got AppLovin higher right now, Adobe higher as well, both by a little bit more than 3%. CrowdStrike, what's interesting about that one, that's pretty flat today. And what stands out in general about CrowdStrike is there are those I talk to who say cybersecurity should not be caught up in this software sell-off that we're seeing. Is there a place where one could see an opportunity to hide out, or that there is in other words, it shouldn't have been caught up in this, and there's an opportunity from here?
Well, let me clarify a couple things first. We currently, the only exposure that we have, I would say, indirect exposure to SaaS is basically our position in Alphabet or Google and Amazon. We actually think that ultimately the winners are actually the cloud providers, because you need all of that. You need the data centers, you need the AI capabilities that both of those companies have to enable AI overall, that computational. So that's our exposure. But to answer your question, when you talk about cybersecurity, yes, I mean, that's a non-discretionary spending. So when I refer to budget reallocation, the cybersecurity part, I don't think many enterprises would be slashing and or trying to actually handle it more in-house, unlike some other type of software. So cybersecurity, we think, are a little bit safer. The other ones, basically software providers that have proprietary data. I mean, that's that deep data moat. That's very, very important. So systems of records, for example, Epic or even Viva. And then there are also some that are more in regulated verticals, such as the defense industry, healthcare, and so forth. When basically you need certifications, you need official licensing in order to be able to monetize that technology.